Say again?
It's going to be used for training purposes?
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. It's used for training purposes. You're not good for training? Don't pick you. That's good to know. You wanted to be a man, okay? Alright, BJ, we ready?
It's live.
We're live, alright. Wait for you guys to come around here. So, as you guys know, at the conclusion of this with the ORA process, I'll be inputting this into the ORA database, which if you guys haven't had the chance to go into or review, see me afterwards and I'll show you how to get access to that. But in there, you guys will be able to see the ORA that I actually have with Dave. So when I'm going over the things that he and I talk about in ORA process, or TCM, if you will, you guys will be able to see that as well. What are the directors and managers talking about? So, just a quick agenda here. For today, we'll be going over the vital factors, which is composed of the compliance, academic quality, student experience, staff engagement, and of course, responsible growth. Then we're going to look at the progress indicators. I see pretty much all of you had the chance to print yours out. Good job. And we'll be going over, obviously, the HTC, lead conversion, reg from referrals, step conversions, and the success elements. And then with that, we'll take a look, you guys, at what's kind of happening there. And we will look at the ORA process and figure out where can we ultimately change our habits or some behaviors to improve it. And then at the conclusion of that, we'll have weekly wows, and then we'll have like an open conversation. If you guys have any questions or different things that we need to talk about as a team, events or stuff coming up, we'll conclude with that. So the first part, compliance. Essentially what this is saying, you guys, when you saw Kendra's email, talked a lot about that all universities are responsible for explaining to students all the information that pertains to it because we have Title IV funding. It's essentially that the students have the right to know all the things you guys see to the right hand of this list. You know, the cost of attendance, applicable refund policies, diversity, alumni information. Does anybody know where we typically house this information?
Phoenix.edu.
Phoenix.edu, and then dial down a little bit further. Where else is that also hidden? Comes out once every year.
Consumer reports.
There it is, Consumer Information Guide. Every year, this is the information when we're telling students if they have questions about this, you guys can direct them to this information. Like I said, but it's on Phoenix.edu, and when you toggle down further, it's in the Consumer Information Guide. So this is something
on their student webpage too?
It would be on the student webpage as well. Yeah. So this is, like I said, for not only new students but existing students, because you will run into students who, after they got into class, you know, they're talking with other students and so forth, and find out some new stuff, right? Some stuff they didn't consider, like, you know, what's the diversity of your university, right? If they want to know that, that's fine, but this is where they would actually be able to get that, and by compliance, we need to be able to provide that information to them. So let's take a look at the second part here when we're looking at academic quality here. This is giving us a brief graph, you guys, so far of the year. It looks like as far as faculty, so this comes from the NPS scores, right? When students are talking about their experience, right, in class with the faculty. It looks like in September we were off to a pretty good start above the national, right? That's what the gray bar is there. It's the national average or regional average. And then it looks like in October, the national average kind of passed us up. In November, we were still trending in a good direction. Even though the national average was going up, we're still heading in a good direction. But it looks like here heading into December, we've had a little bit of a drop-off. So that'll be something that our admin manager TCM will have to look at to figure out why students are saying that their experience with the academic professors is not going so well, right? And then the black line there is just giving you an overall idea of where our media trend is actually heading. But with that, there are still some great professors out there that we can still recognize, right? So when we saw from the vital factors from Kendra this week, it actually identified some professors that are actually doing some great things that students want us to recognize. I'm not sure if any of you guys are familiar with any of them. Elizabeth Hayes for the Human Services. This student said that they will recommend this instructor to other students because this instructor pushed for excellence and resulted in the students performing better. The detailed feedback the instructor provided on assignments was excellent. So this was over in the Gardena. So the GD is Gardena Learning Center. So something positive to say there. We got Lena Watson over in Ontario. Great and very knowledgeable and professional. We have Kenneth Pickering. Psychology, right? 475 took a lot of part of the program over in Ontario. Dr. Kenneth Pickering is an awesome instructor, and I would recommend and love him as an instructor in my future classes. And this is the things that we want to hear people talk about, right? These are the things we want to hear students actually say. Steve Brandon, right? As you guys all know, who used to be one of our facilities people here. Steve Brandon is great. He is very down to earth and makes the material relatable and easy to understand. And I think all of us have had the opportunity to interact with Steve Brandon so far in the past, so that's pretty accurate. You know, he's usually a pretty stand-up guy. And the last one we got there is Terry Gordon. Received from student instructor. She said that Ms. Gordon is the best instructor she has had here so far and looked forward to going to class every week because she knew it was going to be an exciting and she was going to learn a great deal from her. So we've got some great professors out there. Even though it's just Trinity now, we need to at least recognize that there are professors across the SoCal campus here who are doing some fantastic things. Next we have to take a look, you guys, is student experience, right? So this is the NPS scores that relate to what it's like to deal with us, right? This is enrollment, right? Academics, student mentors, and so forth. So again, looks like in September, we're actually on the right track between September and October. We're moving up again in November. And then we have a little bit of a dip here again in the month of December. So the two are probably related to each other, right? If we have faculty drop and we have student drop, so that'll be something that we will need to dive into more, right? When we're taking a look at the NPS scores, that what is happening overall, right, with the SoCal campus, that students are saying, my overall experience right now maybe is not trending in the right way, right? Something might be happening. So we'll have to take a look at that also again in our managers meeting.
It's December 7th, so that's only a week until.
That's true, right? So we have some students right now, and who will those students represent? The Axia ones, right? So we'll have to take a look at that. So those instructors may not necessarily, to you guys' point, be housed here in SoCal, but still, when we're looking at our communication and conversation with the students, we need to be addressing that, right, to alleviate some of those problems that they may be running into. But to your point, this is only, as Elise pointed out, up to December 7th. So we haven't experienced a full month. But if we look at the previous months going back, you guys, we're doing some great things, right? Because we're trending in the right direction, right? So student experience. This was somebody that actually on our team, David Magallanes, that we get a chance to recognize. It's something that a student had to say about him. The whole process to do online schooling was so great and really a lot easier than I expected. Dave has been really great. He touches base with me to see how I am doing. He keeps me updated on any issues or changes that may come about. He, along with Juanita, are really great at keeping me well informed, and that in turn keeps me focused and excited about the learning process. I'm very glad I chose Phoenix University for the online courses they offer, along with the unlimited resources they provide to keep, I think she meant me, on track with a K, and confident. Right, David Magallanes.
Again.
It's powerful though, right? I mean, she says some great things in there, right? She makes reference to, yeah, absolutely. That deserves a hand clap, absolutely. Because she makes reference to a few things in there, right? And she says, you know, Juanita. So that shows that there's a relationship between David and Juanita, and they work well together to get the student pretty much on pace. But she also says, she talks about resources, right? She's a university for the online courses they offer, along with the unlimited resources. That's an indication that when, obviously, David's having conversations with the student, he's explaining to them, hey, we have this. We also have this to help you with it. Students don't make reference to resources unless they know they exist. And for her to use the word unlimited, that's a powerful word. There's a lot of resources she feels like that are there at her disposal to help her get through this. So kudos to you, David, for definitely getting the student on the right track. Absolutely. So staff engagement. We have some people that SoCal likes to recognize for the Employee of the Month Award. Holly Pennington, how many of you guys know who she is? BJ does. I know you've actually worked with her a few times before. She's actually one of the facilities. She handles both Diamond Bar and South Coast. Obviously, you guys know that from proximity. That's not campuses that are right next to each other. So she does a fantastic job there. You guys might have a chance to work with Brian Carroll. He's out of the Diamond Bar campus, one of the student mentor, I think, managers that deals with that. And then, of course, Raquel, one of our enrollment advisors down in the Corona campus. So these are a couple of individuals we wanted to just recognize in this particular month. Staff engagement. I thought this was prudent since we have a member of ours that used to be here with us in San Bernardino, but she's still kindred spirit and from afar still doing great things, right? Lorraine has always been available to assist me with all my school issues, and when she is busy with other students, she makes it a point to communicate efficiently, helping me to be patient and know that when she is done, she will assist me. She has a great attitude and carries herself in a professional manner. She has helped me so many times. Staff engagement, right? This is not necessarily a student necessarily saying this all the time, right? These are also members of the actual learning center that she's at saying she's actually willing to help me. And I think we all can attest this because we used to have Lorraine here in our student center, right? And she was always great at, coming back to help us out with students for whatever we need. So even though she's not here with us, she's still doing great things from afar. Another thing from staff engagement, we have a couple of our own that are still here, right? We have the facilities team from Ontario, San Bernardino, Marietta. They're volunteering at the Water of Life Food Bank in Fontana, and here we got some pictures of Pete and 2 pictures of Tim lifting crates. And for those of you guys who don't know, the other lady in the picture is Eileen. She is the facilities manager over there in Ontario. She's actually used to manage both Ontario and San Bernardino, but gotten kind of large, so she handles just Ontario. So they're doing some great things for the Water for Life Church in the community. Responsible growth, right? So this is the area where we take a look at, how is the SoCal campus, or the overall company, actually, I should say, progressing in comparison to the previous year. What you guys can see here is when you're looking at the red line, what you're seeing here is the fiscal year of SoCal. The purple line that you see there is FY11, so that's last year, right, from September to August. And so you can see here, you guys, with the red line, we're doing some great things, right? We are well above that. So when you look at the first month here, which is September, the bottom number here is the percentage over or under, depending on the month, right, from the previous year. So in September, we had 22.4% more enrollments over last year. It's a big deal, you guys. That is a big deal. And then the tradition continued. In October, 33.7. In November, and this is phenomenal, 42. We're heading towards 50% year over year. What do you guys think can attest to such a dramatic change?
Now we're pretty much on track in comparison. In the past, everybody was in limbo, not knowing what direction to head to.
Okay. Any other thoughts? Yeah, that's pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate, right? We haven't added a whole bunch of new staff. It's really the staff engagement. And this is not just speaking from your guys' level, but as I told you guys before in a meeting before, management too, right? This is everybody getting back engaged with the job, finding their place with it, as we talked before, crossing the line of this being a place of business, a place that they want to be. Right now for December, we're trending to be about 3.6%. This is by week, right? So in week 1, 2.8, now 3.6. So as we get closer to the end of the month, the projections will grow as we take a look at those students that get closer into red or those students that actually start class. But the great news is, you guys, when you look at the first quarter of this year, phenomenal work. Phenomenal work. We are on track to do some great things here, you guys, this year. Forget about, like I said, the past long time ago or what it used to be like. When we look at last year and this year, what we see in this trend, you guys, is a choice. People made a choice with the University of Phoenix that I want to be here. I want to do this job. Plain and simple. Management too, right? But we're on track to do some great things. So, without further ado, let's get into part of the oral process. So at this point, start following along, you guys, with your sheets here. Again, when we're doing this, don't need to make reference to you individually, but it's good for you guys to kind of know exactly where you're at with things. So with the first part here, the bottom view, the current rep, this is our hot transfer conversion, right? It's a 30-day snapshot going back 60 days. We go back to 60 days to give you guys enough time to actually kind of go over some of that information. So with that being said, you can see you guys here in the month of August. We talked about it before. We actually had a little bit of a dip, and I think we actually covered that before. But we covered and responded in kind, you guys, where you can see over the last, 3 months, right? In September, October, November, we are on the right track. And when you look at the last 3 here, you guys, this is looking at just